Hello world, this is my first little video on beat making, sample-based music production, sound design, and whatnot, so let's get started. Alright, so I have a smaller little Ableton live session right here. Let's go on in, you can see this is the whole session or whatnot, from start to finish right here at the end of this bracket. And pretty much anytime I start making a track, I just pile all these sounds and samples together, and then once I have a nice giant pile of them, I see if they all sound good, then I start breaking them down and fading them in, fading them out, automating them or whatnot, and actually arranging them once they sound good as a cohesive unit. So for this one right here, I took off and I said, okay, let this be the fundamental sample of the entire track. This one right here. Let's see how it sounds. Like, okay, that sounds good. That's something to work with as a lead. So I decided, how can I vary that? How can I change it up? So what I decided to do is I decided I was going to stretch it out, make it twice the length that it was before. So the duration's twice as long. And in order to stretch it, but yet still, make it twice the length, half the tempo, what I had to do was warp it. So I stretched it out up here, and then you go down to the sample editor, the bottom, you pull it back all the way to 5 measures, because that's how long I actually stretched out the sample. You can see the blank space right here, and then I just drag this warp marker all the way to the end there. Let's take a look. Everything pretty much lines up on the grid, so it should be in time. Let's see how it sounds. Put on the metronome. Nice. So it's a different variation on that original sample, and I decided, okay, it's good, but let's change it up even more. So it's time to apply a little bit of plug-in action over here. I started off with this one called Phreak. It's by SoundToys, and pretty much what this is just a filter sweep plug-in, and I opted for a Mutron-esque preset, and I felt like it gave me a nice little twangy sort of sound. So let's see how this kind of sounded. Oh, gotta turn it on first. The cool thing about this plugin is you can set all the different parameters that you'd like to manipulate, such as the frequency at which to start the sweep, the amount of resonance to give it. Let's play with these. The mix, the amount of, how wet and dry the signal is. That's handy for automation and whatnot. Those are all a lot of fun to play with. So I added that filter. I decided, okay, let's change it up a little bit more. Let's give it some space and some depth. So I added this one. It's called Phase Mistress right here. And I opted for a preset called Stereoizer, and it pretty much stretches out the signal. It gives it a nice little stereo image, and definitely you have to hit the MIDI sync button right over here, because that allows the plugin to function with the same tempo that your song's currently playing at, so it'll react accordingly. So let's see how this sounds with this turned on. So that's good enough for a dry signal, but on top of that we have to have a little bit of reverb, so I added this Send channel over here, living room plugin. That is an EchoBoy preset, and I added this one right here, Oil Tempo. That's another EchoBoy preset, and let's see how these sound. Alright, so now that sample definitely has a little bit of originality and some depth to it. So let's go to the other main thing that I did in this track over here. It has to do with this this transition from this chunk of the song to this chunk of the song. So let's play it out, give it a couple measures leading into it. Let's see how this sounds. Solo. Alright, now what's going on here is this vocal sample right down here. I triggered this to go to this EchoBoy plugin right over here. And this one's aptly named Spaced Space Echo. This is a sound reminiscent of the classic Roland Space Echo. Right here. You get the idea. Okay, so we have this chunk of the song, this chunk of the song, and then the nice little gap in between with the that whirling, reverberant, repeating wah, 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 that just got stronger and stronger and stronger. Well, how did I do that? I took this vocal sample over yonder, and I automated the send to EchoBoy. That's this plugin right over here. And on this plugin, this is EchoBoy by SoundToys. I'm using it as a reverb/delay sort of send. And I just automated the amount of feedback and the mix. So you can see the feedback getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Let's take a look at that automation lane over here. EchoBoy, feedback. See? Stronger, stronger, stronger. And then to sweeten the deal on this, I added this. This is a cymbal crash that I reversed. It adds a nice little sound. And then nothing. So yeah, let's take one more look at this automation. Right here. I took this vocal sample right here. I went over here to the automation lanes and I said, hey, as this sample gets closer to the end, I want to make the amount of the automation signal louder. I want to increase the amount to this EchoBoy plugin right over here. And at the same time, I'm sending more signal to EchoBoy. This sample cuts off, and then within EchoBoy, I'm increasing the feedback and the mix. Cool beans. So, yeah, that's the basics of pretty much what I did here in this track. If you have any questions, comments, you can get at me at beatsnsmore.com. Hit us up on our YouTube, like us on Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz. And I guess until next time, take it easy.